The acceptance letter trembled in my hands as I sprinted up our cracked driveway. Full scholarship to Cornell. Everything I'd worked for, everything I'd dreamed of, crystallised in that single piece of paper. My name is Adeline, and that was the last happy moment of my childhood. Mum! Dad! I burst through the front door, waving the letter like a victory flag. I got in! I actually got in! They sat at the kitchen table, faces drawn. Mum's fingers twisted her wedding ring, her nervous tell. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. Sit down, Adeline, he said quietly. But, sit! I sank into the wooden chair, clutching my letter. The air felt thick, wrong. There's been a situation with Darren, Mum began, her voice wavering. He got into some trouble. Gambling debts. What does that have to do with... The realisation hit me like a punch to the gut. No, you didn't. Dad cleared his throat. We had to protect him. The people he owed money to, they were dangerous. My college fund? My voice cracked. You took my college fund. We didn't have a choice, Mum whispered. We used your signature, just this once. The room spun. You forged my signature. That's illegal. Don't raise your voice, Dad snapped. This is about family. I stood up so fast my chair crashed backward. Family? I worked 3 jobs for that money. 3 jobs! Darren needed help. I needed help! I screamed. I'm your daughter. 10 minutes later, I walked out with nothing but my backpack. 18 years old, homeless, betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect me. Sitting in a 24-hour diner, nursing a coffee I could barely afford, I made myself a promise. They'll pay. All of them. 6 years later, I balanced 3 textbooks in one arm while refilling coffee cups with my free hand. My feet ached from pulling doubles at the diner, but night classes at the community college weren't going to pay for themselves. More cream, hun? I asked an elderly customer, fighting to keep my eyes open. Adeline, a word? Professor Martinez called from his usual corner booth. He taught my advanced financial analysis class and always tipped well, understanding the struggle. I slid into the booth across from him. If this is about the late assignment, it's about your analysis of the Morgan Stanley case study, he interrupted, sliding my paper across the table. This is graduate level work. Oh. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, embarrassed. My phone buzzed. A Facebook notification. Mum had tagged Darren in another post, so proud of our son's entrepreneurial spirit, starting his own company at 27. My hand shook so hard I nearly dropped the phone. 6 years, and they still acted like I never existed. Adeline? Professor Martinez's voice snapped me back. Are you okay? I forced a smile. Fine, just tired. Listen, he leaned forward. There's an internship opening at First National, extremely competitive, but they're looking for someone with your analytical skills. That's one of the biggest banks in the country, and they pay their interns enough to live on. He held my gaze. You could quit these other jobs, focus on your education. For the first time in years, I felt hope flutter in my chest. You really think I could get it? With your drive? He smiled. I think you could run the place someday. Little did he know how prophetic those words would become. 4 years later, my heels clicked against marble floors as I strode through First National's executive wing, head of risk assessment at 28. The homeless girl, who once couldn't afford coffee, now had an office with a view of the city. Miss Adeline? Mila poked her head in. The new investment proposals are ready for review. I smiled at my assistant. She'd started as an intern the same day I became department head, and I'd recognised that same hungry look in her eyes. Thanks, Mila. I stopped cold, staring at the company name on the top folder. DYL, Darren Young Living. Everything okay? Mila asked. Fine. I kept my voice steady. Just noticed something interesting. Can you pull everything we have on DYL? Quietly. Later that night, I scrolled through their financials. The numbers didn't add up. Revenue reports looked inflated, expenses understated. Classic signs of fraud. You're still here? Mila appeared with coffee. Look at this, I pointed to my screen. They're claiming 300% growth in 6 months. That's impossible for a lifestyle brand. Exactly. I leaned back. There's an investor event tomorrow night? Think you could get me in? The next evening, I wore a blonde wig and glasses, blending in with the crowd of potential investors. Darren stood on stage, all fake tan and whiter than white teeth. DYL isn't just a company, he boasted. It's a movement. I moved closer, studying his practiced gestures, his rehearsed charm. Then he looked directly at me, and my heart stopped. But his eyes slid right past. My own brother didn't recognise me. Perfect. So your brother's running a Ponzi scheme? Nasir stirred his coffee, eyebrows raised. My old classmate had become an investigative journalist specialising in financial fraud. More like a house of cards built on crypto loans and fake revenue reports. I slid a USB drive across the cafe table. Everything's here. And you want me to... Follow the money. Do what you do best. He pocketed the drive. You know this will destroy him. He destroyed himself. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. Mum and Dad at Darren's new office opening, all smiles and champagne. Mum wore the sapphire brooch I'd given her for her 50th birthday. Adeline? Nasir's voice softened. Are you sure about this? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Mila. You need to get back here, she said, breathless. Now. 20 minutes later, I stared at the loan application on my desk. DYL was requesting an emergency bridge loan of $50 million from my bank. He's desperate, Mila said. Their crypto investments tanked last week. I picked up the application, noting the familiar scrawl of my father's signature as guarantor. Schedule a meeting. Tell them we need all principal parties present. Darren, Mum, Dad, the works. When? Tomorrow morning. But don't tell them who they're meeting with. A cold smile crossed my face. Just say it's with the head of risk assessment. Adeline! Mila hesitated. What are you planning? Justice. I traced my finger over my father's signature. Or maybe karma. After all, they taught me everything I know about forged signatures. I watched them through the security feed, sitting in the bank's waiting area. Dad checked his Rolex, a gift from Darren, no doubt. Mum smoothed her designer dress, while Darren paced, running fingers through his styled hair. That cold-hearted witch is making us wait, Mum muttered to Darren. These risk assessment types, they don't understand family businesses. I clicked the intercom. Mila, send them in. The glass door opened and Mila appeared. The director will see you now. They followed her down the hallway, their reflections bouncing off the glass walls. I stood, straightening my blazer, feeling the weight of 15 years of preparation. The door opened. 1, 2, 3 steps in. Their faces transformed in slow motion. Mom's hand flew to her throat. Dad stumbled backward. Darren's fake tan seemed to pale instantly. Hello, family. I smiled, gesturing to the chairs. Please, sit. Adeline, Mum whispered. That's Director Adeline, actually. I remained standing. Head of risk assessment. But you'd know that if you bothered to track my career like you tracked Darren's. Now listen here, Dad started. No. My voice cut like steel. You listen. For once in your lives, you're going to sit down, shut up, and face the consequences of your actions. This is ridiculous, Darren sputtered. I'm not staying. $50 million. I held up his loan application. That's what you need, right? To save your crumbling empire? Well, I'm the only person in this building who can approve that loan. I leaned forward, hands flat on my desk. So yes, dear brother, you are staying. The door clicked shut behind them. No escape this time. Let's review your application, I said, flipping through pages. Fascinating how you've reported 300% growth while your crypto accounts show massive losses. Those numbers are from our marketing department, Darren stammered. I'm not directly involved. Don't lie to me. I slammed my hand on the desk. I have copies of every fraudulent document, every cooked book, every shell company. Mom reached for my arm. Sweetheart, please, we're family. I jerked away. Family? Was I family when I slept in my car during a snowstorm? when I had to choose between buying food or textbooks? We did what we had to do, Dad growled. You were always strong. Darren needed... Needed what? Another chance to gamble away someone else's future? I pulled out my phone. One email, and every financial journalist in the country gets proof of DYL's fraud. Darren collapsed into his chair. You'll destroy everything. Like you destroyed my life? I reached into my desk drawer and pulled out a manila envelope. But I'm giving you one chance. More than you ever gave me. What's this? Darren's hands shook as he took the envelope. A settlement agreement. You'll sell DYL at a loss. The proceeds will repay my stolen college fund with 15 years interest. You can't be serious, Mum whispered. Sign it, or I press send. I held up my phone. Your choice, brother. Your reputation or your company. This is blackmail. Dad stood up, face red. No, I corrected him. This is karma, and unlike you, I'm giving him a choice. I smiled coldly. Tick-tock, Darren. What's it going to be? The pen scratched across paper. Darren signed, his hand trembling, then slid the agreement back to me. You've won, he whispered. Happy now? Happy? I laughed, the sound hollow. I stopped being happy the day you all decided I was disposable. Mum started crying. We were trying to protect him. No. I stood up, my voice sharp. You didn't protect him. You enabled him, and you destroyed me in the process. The next morning, Nasir's article hit the press. DYL empire crumbles. Investigation reveals massive fraud. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications. Darren's wife Emery posted a public statement announcing their separation. His investors filed lawsuits. His empire collapsed like the house of cards it had always been. Mila brought me whiskey at midnight, long after everyone else had left the office. Your brother's trending on Twitter, she said, pouring 2 glasses, not in a good way. I stared out at the city lights. 15 years of planning, and now what? My phone lit up with a voicemail. Dad's number. I pressed play, putting it on speaker. I'm sorry. His voice cracked. Adi, I know you won't believe me, but I'm sorry. What we did, we were wrong. So wrong, I don't expect forgiveness. The message ended. Mila touched my shoulder gently. You okay? I downed my whiskey in one gulp. They took everything from me, my future, my trust, my family. And now I have everything. I pressed delete on Dad's message. Everything except peace. The city lights blurred as tears finally, after 15 years, began to fall. The community college auditorium buzzes with excitement. I sit in the back row, watching a young woman step up to the podium. My name is Maya, she begins. Thanks to the Adeline Young Scholarship for Displaced Students, I'm the first in my family to attend college. Mila squeezes my hand. She's the only one who knows I'm here. When I was homeless, Maya continues, I thought my dreams were over. But this scholarship taught me that setbacks don't define us. My phone vibrates. A news alert. Former DYL CEO files for bankruptcy. Below it, a message from Mum. Living with Aunt Sarah now. Miss you. I delete both notifications. You could go talk to her, Mila whispers, nodding toward Maya. She'd love to meet you. I shake my head. The scholarship works better without my face attached to it. Let her build her own story. Outside, fall leaves scatter across campus. A family walks past, mother, father, daughter, hands linked, laughing about something private and precious. The sight hits me harder than expected. You never told me, Mila says quietly. Was it worth it? The revenge. I watch the family disappear around a corner. I won, destroyed their lives like they destroyed mine, but victory tastes different than I imagined. Bitter? Empty. I turn to her. But this scholarship? Helping kids like Maya? That feels like something real. So what now? Through the window, I see Maya hugging her friends, clutching her scholarship certificate. Her joy is pure, untainted by revenge or regret. Now? I smile, feeling something shift inside me. Now I build something better than revenge. I leave the brooch, Mum's old sapphire one, on Maya's scholarship file. Some legacies are better reimagined than reclaimed,